Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm Mr. Controversy, and welcome back to Coffee Shop Chatter, where you may or may not hear some of these topics in your local coffee shop. So, before we get started, you already know, hit the subscribe, like the video. You can actually just click the like now. It ain't that hard. Not asking for too much from you. Just hit that like button just to get the video into the algorithm. And then at the end, as always ask people comment just for dialogue. So you have people don't have a understand or people have a misconception because there's so much stuff out there about Donald Trump, and that's just the way the media spins it. They don't have to put the truth out. They can actually clip stuff together and make it sound the way they want to sound as far as what a person may be saying. But there's things that people don't know about Donald Trump. There's some things I already knew about already. But we're just gonna go ahead and get to this video. And is this a reactionary? The actual video is from Doc Rich. So I will put the link to his actual channel down in the descriptions. So if you want to go over there and check out some of his content, he has some really good content. He does a lot of reactionary stuff. Um, and subscribe to his channel while you're over there. So without further ado, we're gonna go over there and see what he got.
Back at it again. And the story about Trump, or the narrative, is that Trump and his entire family are horrible, terrible, no good, very bad people. Well, I'm here to spread a little bit of a different light on that, because I used to be one of those folks who thought Trump was and believed Trump was a very, very bad man, and that he hated everybody except for himself and himself only. Um, until I started looking into things for myself and actually getting the entire picture. You know, I would see these stories like the very fine people on both sides whole thing, until I went and actually started looking up the stuff and watching the full clip and not just getting little snippets from mainstream media. And I'm here to shed a little light on some of those stories. And I'm going to share this first story with you guys about Donald Trump's father. Yeah, the guy that they always go after because he passed down some money to Donald Trump, and that's one of the ways that they used to go after Trump. But here's a story about his father to start it off, and then I've got a lot more to get into. Let's dive in.
I have an amazing story to tell you real quick about what President Trump's father, Fred Trump, did for myself, for my brother, for my sister, for my mother. 1974, my dad suffered a major heart attack. I went to the same school as Donald Trump, the Q Forest School. 3 days after my father's burial, there was a knock on the door one school morning, 7 a.m. I answered the door. It's a distinguished gentleman. I was 10 years old. My father just died. The gentleman said, "Kid, call your mom." I called my mom from upstairs. She came down. Gentleman said to my mom, "I am Fred Trump, Donald's father." And my mom says, "Yes, I know Donald went to the Q Forest School." And Mr. Fred Trump said to my mom, "Yes, Mrs. Rem, very sorry about Joseph's death. And what you don't know is I'm still on the Board of Trustees at the Q Forest School. And this morning, I let Headmaster Mr. Philip Rogers know that from this day forward, myself, Fred Trump, out of my own pocket, is going to pay for your 3 children's tuition, because I don't want the kids have to go back into the public school system." And the tuition in 1974 was $2,500 per child, $7,500, which is about $80,000, $100,000 in today's money. And who would do that except the President Trump's father? The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, and they give the Trump family grief. The Trump family is a wonderful family, the entire family, sorry. And who else? Can you picture Joseph Biden or Kamala Harris doing that? No. All they care about is buying another mansion. I'm going to tell you, the Trump family is wonderful. I love you, Donald. I wish I could shake your hand. It was my mother's last dying wish to shake your hand and to thank your father, Fred Trump, for what he did for us kids in 1974 in Forest Hills, New York.
So I'm from Queens, New York, and the public schools, I ain't say all of them, but a lot of them, depending on where you were located, they suck. They suck. There was so much going on at Andrew Jackson. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Andrew Jackson was one of the schools. There were schools that were right by me, right there on House Avenue. I could have easily went to public schools, but and actually I wanted to go there. My parents is like, nope, I don't think so. You're going to school. So I went to school all the way out in Bayside, out in Springfield. Predominantly white area. My school was predominantly white. I mean, we had it was some black kids in there, but it wasn't like we were there in the abundance. And I was mad because I wanted to go to school with my friends that was close to me. But now I look back on it and I look at where I am at in life versus some of those other people. I'm happy as hell. My parents sent me, put my butt on the bus, and I went out to Springfield. My elementary school was right by what was it? Queensboro College. Right, was literally right across the street from us. Nice neighborhood, great teachers. So, like I said, parents know what's best.
I love you, President.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Man, I almost brought a tear to my eye. You know, you could tell it was real. He was getting emotional as he was remembering and telling that story. Beautiful story. And I love what he said there. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And here's a story from RFK Jr. about the Don, Uncle Trump.
He was asked what he thought about Trump as a person, and he shared this amazing story.
I've known President Trump for many years, and on 2 occasions I sued him. He was trying to build golf courses up in the New York City reservoir watershed, and I sued him successfully to stop that. And at one point, my wife, she wanted to go to Palm Beach for the weekend to see my mom over Easter, and I said, I didn't want to buy tickets for all the kids. And she said, what if I find a free ride? And I said, okay. Then she said, I found a free ride. And I said, who? And she said, Donald Trump. And I said, I'm suing him. And she said, he told me he knows you're suing him, but it's okay anyway. And we ended up flying down with him, and I had a great time. I still sued him, and...
It's such an interesting story because you kind of separate the friendship from the legal stuff. It's like, yeah, you sue me, I get it, that's what you do. Yeah. But I'm not, like, you want to use my plane, fine.
Now, listen, I'm just going to be completely honest. Trump's a better man than me. Because if you suing me, there's no way, ain't no way I'm letting you get on my plane. Nah, you can Mike and Ike it.
Same way, Mike
Get
and
to
Ike.
stepping. No. Call me a terrible person if you want. I'm cool with it. But no way I'm going to let somebody who's suing me get on my plane for free 99. Come on, bro. Nah. But a couple more things, right? Let's go down this list here. Donald Trump sheltered Jennifer Hudson rent-free after her family was pine-boxed. I'm sure you guys have heard that story. Donald Trump sued the city of Palm Beach when he bought a segregated club at Mar-a-Lago to open it to Jews and to blacks. He sued the city to ensure that black people and Jews could come. Does that sound like a terrible person to you? No. Donald Trump paid to ensure a Mexican-American boy would graduate from college when he saw a news story about his terminally ill mother. Donald Trump dispatched his plane to fly a sick Jewish boy for special care when he heard no airline would accommodate his medical equipment. I remember hearing about that story before. Donald Trump sent $10,000 to hero bus driver Darnell Barton after seeing a news story about how he saved a woman from jumping off a bridge. Donald Trump gave the job of constructing Trump Tower to Barbara Ress, making her the first woman in history to build a skyscraper. And like this is my thing, because I'm obviously a Trump supporter now at this point. I haven't always been, and I've made no secret about that. Why haven't I heard about every single one of these stories? Interesting, huh? News ain't the news no more. Y'all remember, and I covered this story a while back, but the thing about this is Donald Trump could talk about this stuff all day long, but he doesn't. I housed a homeless woman for free, gave her fresh flowers every week, and made sure she had 3 warm meals every single day. And if you don't believe me, here's a video from her herself.
Hi, everybody. I am a squatter in Donald Trump's building, Trump Tower, in New York City. As you can see, I'm in my pajamas. There's Central Park right there. And that tall building is the Essex House on Central Park West, near 59th Street. I came in here about 9 years ago and snuck in the building and just started occupying one of the empty rooms in here. By the time our housekeeper noticed I was here the next day, she called the manager and they called the New York City police, who came up here and told me I had to leave or I would be arrested. When I told them I would not go, they contacted Mr. Trump over the phone, and he came down here. Instead of him evicting me off the property, he said that I can stay. And it's been 8 years I've been here.
Does that sound like a racist individual? Does that sound like a mean person? I don't think so. Check out this story too.
Senseless acts of kindness. You know, throughout your career as well, you know, Ed McMahon and his house, he was in financial distress at the end of his career. You
Good
bought
guy,
that.
such a good guy.
You know, your limo breaks down and you end up paying off someone's mortgage, someone that stopped and helped you. There's a soft side to Donald Trump.
But if you reveal it, you'll destroy my image. Right? No, I
I'm
like
not sure.
helping people. I love people. I love helping people. And wherever I can, you know, I'm fortunate that I can do all of this stuff or whatever I want to do. And I do like helping people, Dave.
Does that sound like a bad guy to you? Doesn't to me. And this is the thing. Well, let me play this next one too. Check it out.
It's intriguing how the media often labels Trump as racist, yet his actions tell a different story.
I like Donald Trump. Donald Trump stood up for me when when they talked bad about me. I accepted that and said, Mike is my friend, and I respected that. He says all these, you know, cool things. I like Mike Tyson. He likes me. We're both, you know.
And of course, I can go on and on and on. But, you know, the thing about this is they all used to love him, including Joe Scarborough and Micah Brzezinski on MSNBC. And if you don't believe me, check it out.
Watch your head. Very tall.
How are you?
Nice to see you. How's it going? Okay. How's it going? All right. That's great.
Everyone is charmed there.
Right here.
Have a seat here.
Have a seat, sir.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. None of us need that much hugging.
Okay.
So let me ask you, let me start with the tough question. Is Mika Brzezinski not just as beautiful today as the first time you called into our show in 2007 and embarrassed her?
I did embarrass her. I said she was very beautiful, and I watched the show because of her beauty, not because of any politics or anything. And
Is that still the case?
Yeah, she's gotten more beautiful.
Ridiculous.
Actually.
Wow. How does that happen,
Power.
Donald? Is
Power.
it her
Okay.
power?
The show has become so successful that she's become very powerful. You like that one too, Joe.
Gotta do.
Great.
Go check the hair. Come on.
Come on, get over here.
Come on.
Get over.
Oh.
First time seen on
Sure.
TV.
All right.
Just right. Oh, right.
Little hairspray, but it is mine, isn't it?
There. It's there.
So as you just saw there, they all used to love him. And I know some folks may say, Rich, that wasn't everybody. I mean, the guy was everywhere. I mean, he did have the most popular show on television, The Apprentice. And then there's also clips like this.
No, good.
I got you, bastard. Wait a minute, we gotta get a word. No! How did you do that?
I don't know. I have no idea. Who says there's not luck in football?
You are the man. One time, everybody, Donald Trump, unbelievable.
No.
Does that seem like a guy that people all hated? Like everybody loved him, including Oprah Winfrey.
Last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like...
Doesn't that sound familiar? Sounds like the same old Trump, don't it? Tired of the American taxpayers, tired of the American people being put at the bottom, stepped on, spit on, trampled over. But also, I wanted to point out this letter here, because this is from Oprah to Donald. As you can see, Donald right there. Donald, I received the book. Apparently, he had sent her a book in January 2000. And I want to point out what it says at the bottom. Let's thank you, Oprah. Too bad we're not running for office. What a team.
Yeah. So my question is, and that's what I understand. Actually, I know what happened. So at that time, a lot of them thought Donald Trump, actually, he was more like, I didn't even say he was a Democrat, but that's what they thought. And once, prior to him changing or announcing that he will be running on the Republican ticket, like I said, everybody freaking, all of them, they all loved him. Rappers, Oprah, Whoopi Goldberg, he was on The View, he did all these shows. Everybody was speaking highly of him. But as soon as he decided to run for president, and he talked about how he was going to expose the government for what it was and how corrupt a lot of things was, that's when they turned on him. Every last one, a lot of the same rappers that was in pictures shaking his hand. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. I mean, there's actually pictures out there with Donald Trump, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and Muhammad Ali all together. And he's actually shaking the hand of Muhammad Ali. But people try to say the man is racist. I've met some racists. Hell, truth be told, I had a racist in my section in the Army, where he didn't want to listen to nothing I had to say because I was black. I was over. My driver was Mexican. He literally told my driver, if they was in the Army, he'd be the one that be cutting his yard. They took my chief to tell him, because I called him out in front of everyone. I called him a racist. I said, you have a problem with a black person telling you what to do. And that's what it was, because I would tell him to do something, he wouldn't do it. He would go check with my E7, because I was E6, that was white. And then he even came and said something to me about it, asking me, he said, why does he keep coming to when you tell him to do something, he's coming I was like, he a racist. I straight called him out. And he was like, are you serious? I said, yes. And I told him what he said to my driver, who was Hispanic. So if he was a racist, he would have got that woman arrested. She wouldn't be living in Trump Tower. She's darn sure wouldn't be feeding her 3 meals a day and let her stay for free. He wouldn't, darn sure wouldn't have let Jesse Jackson get an office space for free, didn't charge him nothing. He wouldn't allow them in the building, period. He wouldn't have did Al Sharpton or nothing with him. But if you go back and actually do your due diligence and look up for stuff, you will find videos of all these people speaking highly of this man. But once he decided to get into the political arena, that's what people didn't like. People had issues. Oh, he's a sexist. He's a misogynist. But dude hired so many women. He had plenty of women that worked for him. Like you said, like there was a woman that built one of his towers. He put in charge. He hired her for that job. So you could save that BS trying to call it. But the media does what it does, and they understand how to rope in small-minded people who are just easy to manipulate. That's just what it is. We do it all the time. Hell, I ain't gonna lie. I did it with my job. That was something I did. And it's called information operations. It's called tailoring messages and broadcasting out to people to make them bend the way you want them to bend. And you'll be surprised how easy it is to do. It don't work on everybody. But for the mass majority of people, it works. So I like to know what you think, what you think about Donald Trump. Get out your feelings. Because if you get down there with your feelings and whining and crying, you could, depending on how you word it, YouTube ain't going to even publish it. If they do publish it, and I could tell it's like, yeah, you're not even thinking. You're just in your feelings. I'm not even going to go back. I'm not even going to go back and forth with you to debate anything. Come with facts, not with opinions, and don't come in your feelings. Come in and be able to transcribe your thoughts in your little comments where it makes sense. And I put it this way, you're not offending YouTube. Because I'm not going to offend, I don't get offended. Because there's a whole bunch of things I could say. But what people say about me, I don't care, because what I look at is, you don't know me. I don't know you. So that's all I got. YouTube, like again, just subscribe. If you haven't watched any past videos, you can do that. If there's a video that you would want me to do, you can email me and I think what I'm gonna do next time, I'm just putting in it, but my email, I believe, is actually in my profile. So if you go in there, you can actually go in there and pull it up. If not, then you can email me at mrcontroversy365@gmail.com. So it'll be Mr. KONTROVERSY 365. Not with a C, it's with a K. I did that intentionally. So that's all I got, YouTube. Peace.